Hey guys, and welcome back to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. We've seen 3 souls pass on so far, and now we're going to take control, so to speak, of Lizzie, who I've honestly forgot, in terms of what role she plays in the story and whatnot. So can you fill me in, Flame, if you could, please?
Well, what we've found out about Lizzie up to this point is she is Stephen's ex from when he was younger.
Ah.
She was the one who Wendy was trying to get Stephen back together with.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What we also know is that she's in sort of a dead-end marriage with a guy who is pretty much useless.
Oh. Oh, Stephen. Still giving it all this.
Because of the flu. There is no flu, Lizzie. Oh, Christ, Stephen, I'm not...
Lizzie's chapter is where the sort of formula that we've got used to in the first 3 chapters, it sort of, I wouldn't say goes away completely, but they start to change up the structure of the game a little bit from this point on, and I can't really go into too much detail for that just yet, but expect things to sort of go a little bit all over the place from here on out.
Oh, the sky darkens and Omega Shenron comes down from the heavens and whatnot. Sorry, I've been playing Dragon Ball Fusions before we started recording.
Yeah, I think this is a completely different world entirely, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I have to say it would probably be slightly boring if the game just followed the same structure for every single character.
Yeah.
So it is nice to hear that they are going to shift it up a little bit.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, did you guys catch on to that? Steven said I love you, but Lizzie didn't respond.
They've got a very complicated relationship, probably the best way of putting this.
God, everything's looking a little bit bleak right now. I don't know if that's just my outlook on things or the weather right now.
I think that is how they're using the weather to sort of... I guess it does actually complement the tone a little bit, that we're getting into this more complicated relationship at the same time as the rainy, dark, sort of grey skies coming over.
Well, it's a bit of pathetic fallacy, really.
What's that one its own, mate?
So, pathetic fallacy is ultimately where you... So it's where you attribute human feelings and responses to inanimate things or animals, but it's generally specifically used to refer to the weather.
Right.
Or that side of things. So, if it's raining outside, then people are sad. That kind of thing. It's why whenever you see funerals in films, it's always raining and everyone's wearing black with their brollies up.
Right.
Like, that's a bit of pathetic fallacy.
I just got a few things to finish up here and then I'll come in and join you.
Oh, lying to children. We are in the apocalypse right now.
What Lizzie's place in terms of all this is she's sort of overseeing a children's holiday camp place, and what they're doing is they're putting on a play just to distract the children from everything that's going on around.
Oh, yeah.
Because kids buy that,
Oi, Shipley, I want a word with you. What? Get over here, soft lad, and keep your voice down.
Oh, proper northern-like.
You know who I am?
Yeah? You work for Meg Holloway?
Charlie Tate. You can call me Charlie.
Sup, Charlie?
What about Charlie?
Rachel Baker.
What about her?
Oh, come on.
that girl who we heard earlier on, Rachel, she's like a youngster who's helping out with this whole holiday camp place, and Reese, who is the one who's got a bit of a... He was the one who's working for Frank, and it's implied he's a kind of ex-offender. He's kind of got a thing for Rachel there. So there's this sort of thing of maybe he wants to stay away from her father.
How old is Reese and how old is Rachel exactly?
Rachel's 16. I assume Reese is about the same sort of age.
Okay, cool. I thought it was a different kind of offender for a second.
Yes, that would have gotten very dark very quickly.
Considering this is a thing where, bombs drop, everybody dies, that's saying something.
This is Lizzie's caravan. Come on, motion controls, any day now.
Don't
touch it. It's fine.
It's like a sunburn, but it's a funny shape. Is it sore?
I can't feel it at all. Don't fuss over
I
it.
can't believe that you left Kate there. Why won't you tell me what happened?
She's probably not even noticed I've gone. It's really nothing.
Stephen's not very good at lying, is he?
Stephen's terrible at lying.
A row. She'll work all night anyway.
Stephen, listen.
So Stephen and Kate have had their relationship between the two of them is also a little bit complicated because you kind of get the vibes from when Kate's been on the radios and the phones and that all this time that she's very invested in her work, and now this whole pattern threat is here as well. That is like that's added another layer to that. So
I came here to see you.
you know they're married, but they're still very distant.
Right.
And as you can kind of see, that's given Stephen the opportunity to wander.
And that would also make things a little bit more complicated with his mother, Wendy, trying to get them back together, because from what I gather from that conversation, they sort of were back together, but... So both of them were having a bit of an affair, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, you kind of can piece together what happened after the fade to white there, or fade to black or whatever.
Yeah, I think that the writing was on the wall there. It's just like, yeah, they are totally going to get it on. So is this piece of music that's playing now Lizzie's theme?
Can't actually recall which one's distinctly her theme because there's a lot of different pieces that play around this part of the game, but it is a very beautiful piece of music that accompanies this scene.
Oh, definitely.
She said they must have left last night, but their car and all their stuff's still here.
So we've got more talk of people who are just getting up and going.
I don't like it.
Probably for the best, really.
Where's the baby?
I mean, can you blame them? Although saying that, there was like the whole train wreck earlier, which that's implied where people were crossing the lines trying to escape. So, you know, if you're trying to get yourself out, that goes back to the whole has a knock-on effect with everything else, because there's the quarantine. We know about the quarantine.
He's a boozer.
And so people are having to get creative with their escape routes. And we also saw the couple who had tried to escape. I believe that's the same couple that are being talked about here. They had the baby Dylan, the one who at the time was trapped in the car, and the parents have gone AWOL.
Ah, right. Wait, so they just left him in the car?
It's sort of implied that. It's kind of not exactly clear, like, where the parents are, whether anything happened to the parents after that. This is where it does get a little bit confusing. To be fair, this might be me not reading things too clearly, but still.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, if the game doesn't necessarily make certain things clear, then it's going to be very difficult to describe. I mean, to be fair, I was just going, oh, they were speaking with Welsh accents. I'm totally down for this. It's bloody amazing. That's basically all I was getting from that scene was Welsh.
So Rachel there, she's involved in another conversation. I think she's getting a bit distraught because of everything that's going on, and she's kind of taking on care of the baby. She's got this kind of motherly instinct to her, which we'll get touched on a little bit, but yeah, she's kind of got this empathetic, worried about all the youngsters and that.
Well, I mean, I suppose if she was 16, then potentially she's one of the older kids in the village. Because obviously you're talking about a village, and you generally don't have that many young people in villages, so they're going to be of various ages, and it makes sense that she was probably one of the older kids.
He upped and wandered off. If things progressed, the mind can be a fragile thing, you know?
It's just not very like him, that's all I'm saying, Doctor. He never misses the mid-morning bingo.
This is, I believe, a character we don't actually see. They're talking about just one of the older guys in the village has gone walkies as well.
His office cleaned in here yesterday afternoon. I'll have to have a word.
It's not like cigarette ash. Strange.
Dr. Wade has just been a phone.
So is this implying that when people pass on, they disintegrate into ash?
That's kind of what it seemed like there. Like, either that is their bodies, like, disintegrating, or whether the light itself, or the pattern, or whatever you want to call it, whether that has its own scent left behind, whether that leaves markings behind.
How very peculiar.
Although, given this is still before, the actual event, given we went back in time for the start of a new chapter, it's debatable whether it's that or whether there was something else going on. Again, it's something that they sort of dance around.
It seems like either people are running away and managing to get away,
Stephen, it's me.
or it's that people were disappearing before the actual event took place, which suggests further that the Rapture is not actually quite the Rapture.
I love you.
This phone call's quite interesting because Lizzie in this call is talking about trying to get away, and she's trying to persuade Stephen to come with her.
From his home phone number, no less.
Yeah, like you even heard the fucking voicemail call thing, and if the first thing you hear when you're calling someone you're having an affair with is their wife's voice, even though it's obviously a pre-recorded thing, would that not sort of make you have that mental step back?
Well, it depends on how deep you are into the affair,
I've been sleeping in one of the empty chalets.
And also, I suppose it would depend entirely on if she knew that Kate would never actually answer the phone, because that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, because she's always at work and whatnot.
Exactly. But then also, considering everything that's going on, there's the potential that she was thinking, I don't care if Kate hears this. All she cares about is getting Stephen out of this place.
There is also the possible cultural idea of they, as a village, because Kate's an outsider, they just really don't think that much of her, and so they don't have that same level of respect. Although saying that, Lizzie seems like one of the more generally considerate people towards all the other ones, so maybe it is just her not thinking straight. And here she's been talking about the things going on in her life, like she alludes to her piece of shit husband.
The alcoholic.
Oh, Frank, you are an angel.
Don't be daft. You're still young, Lizzie. You got plenty of time to be whoever you want to be.
You can clean all the laundry devices in the world.
That leg of yours, or that husband, as an excuse.
It won't just be a Peter Pan play. Maybe next month you can do something else. I don't know.
Les Miserables.
Tom, please never butcher that title again.
What, you talking about Les Miserables, mate?
Les Miserables.
Okay, Mr. I roll my R's and whatnot.
So the thing with that title is that you either say it wrong and sound like a prat, or you say it right and sound like a prat.
Yeah, there's no winning scenario there, really.
Or you could just do the simple thing of going Les Mis.
Yeah.
That's the decent way of saying it.
Now, what I do think's kind of interesting and neat little touch that they've got going on that will sort of connect over time. It's how I was saying that earlier on in the game that the little guidance orb seems to somewhat represent the characters to a certain degree. Well, this one, it's got an extra sort of glow around it that is really animated, and it's just, it works with Lizzie. It's sort of with her poppy character, and also it sort of tips you off to some stuff before the game actually tells you, which I think's interesting.
Is that just you interpreting it, or is that an actual factual thing?
It's me interpreting something that will become obvious.
Okay.
But yeah, I can get a little bit, obsessive over certain things, so take that how you will.
Okay, well, OCD works in strange ways, mate, don't worry about it.
Don't we know it?
I love the use of rain in this chapter.
Yeah, it's so shiny, it really sort of clicks with the sun reflecting off the rainy ground. That is just... It really adds that bit more character to what would otherwise be a dead scene.
Alright, who we got here then?
You shouldn't be smoking.
Jeremy.
The vicar.
Stephen's fault.
Did you catch that first line?
You shouldn't be smoking in your condition. Is Lizzie pregnant?
There's a second little light around that orb, isn't there?
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh.
And if you're piecing together what's happened up to this point,
Yep, they got it on, and I'm assuming there was no protection, so... Ooh, she's preggers.
Clever. You gotta give him
She's pregnant with Stephen's kid, yep.
Well, no wonder she didn't give a crap about Kate answering the phone. She wanted to get him out because she was preggers.
Listen, if you can't get through, for whatever reason, I'm getting people together at the village hall.
Well, things seem to be getting desperate right now. Last resort, final meeting and all that.
a show. Peter Pan. The kids love it. It'll take their minds off things.
Lizzie, this seems to be a thing that's, I guess, her character kind of contradicting herself a little bit, which is, I know why they're doing that, they're showing her desperation, giving her situation, but she seems to be in two minds of she wants to protect everyone and get all the kids together and, you know, put on this Peter Pan play to keep them busy and their minds occupied, but at the same time, because of her personal life with her, you know, the love triangle or quad or whatever the fuck and all that, she also wants to get away.
Yeah.
So she's in two minds, it seems, at this point in time, from what she was just saying with Jeremy there, if she wants out.
Well, I mean, I suppose that would entirely make sense, because especially if you've got a sort of maternal instinct, then as Lizzie seems to have in wanting to protect the kids but also wanting to protect herself, it's a very difficult choice to make, because it's just like, I want to be selfish, but then I don't know if I can.
All 5 towers are now operating together, and I've got the reception up to the red zone, but it's not enough. I'm going to try and route the signal through Tower 6 to create a singular point of reception and re-coordinate the optical array.
I understand all of these terms.
Oh yeah, I'm a science guy. Signal spike, point of origin,
Conceptualize this origin point as a 7th tower, then it makes a kind of sense.
If you can't tell, Kate is a scientist.
Yes, all the techno-babble, but to be fair, when you're a scientist you do tend to use techno-babble because that's how everything is referred to, so... It's those of us on the outside where we're just like, I'm sorry, what now?
Techno tower thingy. I get it completely.
Too long, didn't read, we're fucked.
So who else lives in this kind of caravan-y area of the village, mate? Anyone we know?
I believe that's mostly people who are visiting this holiday camp area. So, like, they are staying in the caravans and that. I can say from experience, my family used to own a caravan when I was young. You hear everything that goes on outside. So, in this rainy thing, you wouldn't sleep. You would just hear tap, 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 tap.
I don't know, that can be kind of peaceful at times. Just rain slowly falling down.
Well, rain slowly falling down.
You know what I mean.
The second it starts to get heavy, you're just like, nope, this is not happening, because all I can hear is like something just tap dancing on the top of the bloody caravan.
I suppose.
That was Richie's impression of rain.
There you go. You know the baby Rachel was looking after earlier, is that the baby from the car? Because I can't believe the parents would just leave it to die.
I think it might have been. I recognised the name Dylan.
Local community leaders, head teachers, scoutmasters, and members of the clergy will act as your representatives during this period. Be sure to report any symptoms of illness.
It's just listening there because you heard quite quietly over the speaker they're talking about the emergency procedures, and the fact that that's playing now, kind of thing, if they've left that on and that's just constantly cycling, that just adds another degree of lifelessness to this place now, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
That there's this thing that's just cycling. It is a complete ghost town now. Oh, and I'm not sure I'm keen on the idea of having that football goalposts on thing right next to the building, because that's going to lose you some fucking windows over time.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Although, to be fair, I don't think I'd be too keen on having it so close to a road either, because that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, either a punctured ball or a punctured something else. Use your imagination.
Indeed.
Looking at this now, this looks so grim, like the weather conditions now.
It does. Like, we're following some kind of just dank path here, really. Where even is the light orb at this point?
Oh, over there. Just as you bring it up, it comes back. It remembers we exist.
You know, now you brought up the second ball of light within the original one, I can't unsee it.
It's just one of them subtle little things that you might not have clocked onto. Like, I didn't until, like, Jeremy mentioned that she's no condition to be smoking and that's when it clicked for me.
Di, whatever's wrong? You look terrible.
Mrs. Graves.
Sean's baby Dylan, is he alright?
He's fine.
Okay, cool. Dylan didn't die, we're all good.
Mrs. Graves, I need to tell you.
Leave it, Di.
You try and get out of the valley, all the roads are shut now.
I know, I was driving really fast, but the other car was on the wrong side of the road and... Oh, God.
So I think this is the same accident that knocked him off the road that was being referred to earlier. So that's where I was kind of piecing that together.
Okay.
Ah.
Baby Dylan's alright. That is what matters.
We got ours, fuck everyone else.
Yeah.
Now I need your help. Some of the children, they're getting quite frightened.
Well, they would, wouldn't they, with the incoming apocalypse?
Yeah, this looks like such the peaceful, relaxing place for a small child when, you know, we're approaching end times.
After himself, he's a big boy now. Don't worry.
So, my assumption is that Lizzie is going to pass on at the play?
Huh.
Am I correct in this assumption?
But he's not going to answer it, because we're going to see it for ourselves, Richie.
Come on, you can wait a little while.
But they're just bigging up this play, and I want to know whether it's going to be similar to Peter Pan Goes Wrong, because I really enjoyed that when that was on TV at Christmas.
Oh, Christ, we got a play fag with his flame. Jesus.
I work at a theatre, what did you expect?
I don't know, really. I just don't know anymore.
At least someone in the group is cultured.
Where's the ambiguous ball of light going to take us now? A graveyard.
You know, the only place this could possibly get more grim at this point in the game.
Yeah. This is England, by the way. This is what we have to live with every single day.
Essentially, although I live in a much more built-up area, so imagine this except with cars everywhere and loud roads and pretty much even more unpleasantness.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to go and look for her?
No, it's okay. Come on, I promised the kids another shot at the last number, then I promised everyone a cup of tea.
Oh, God. Last number. The cup of tea sounds good, though. I'll take that.
I get 'em out of here.
I'll take the end times if they give me tea, that's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Everything is made better by a cup of tea.
We're English, mate. We face the rapture with a cup of tea and our pinkies aimed high.
If there is one thing I can say for this chapter, I do think that we spend maybe a little bit too much time in the holiday camp part, because it, like the other chapters so far, you know, we walked around the woods area, we walked around the main village. This, like, you can only see so many caravans before it gets a little bit samey, but...
Really, it's the character of Lizzie who's kind of boring me a little bit. I don't really connect to her as much as I do, like, say, Frank.
Lizzie.
I get you. I think with Lizzie, it's more the situation she's in that's interesting than Lizzie herself.
Yeah.
Although we do get a bit of indirect beef between her and Kate here, which is something. This has got to be the most fucking awkward conversation you could be part of in this particular scenario.
Oh, look at that sign on the right. Private. Keep out.
Yeah.
They're separated by a fence. This is just wonderful blocking here.
Also the fact that she was just like, Elizabeth. Just like, ooh, she's trying to full name her.
I think Lizzie did go in with the Catherine first, though. I think this is just their pushing their formality just to let it be known we're not chummy.
Yeah, I suppose it is. We'll do our best then.
Like, at this point, you know you got beef for each other, so like, shit will get off the pot, you know.
Yeah. Oh, time is moving.
As it does. Okay, Lizzie +1, can you decide where we're going, please?
You know. Maybe the child orb wants to have a look around, you don't know.
It's just being the pointless tour guide. Look, Yes, another caravan. Don't you like this caravan?
But to be fair, this is what caravan parks are like. There's just loads and loads and loads and loads of caravans, and that's basically it.
God, can you imagine your life ending in a Butlins? What a bleak outlook.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, here comes the rain again.
Mm-hmm.
Storms are brewing.
To be fair, if you're going to go anywhere for the Rapture, I'd rather be in, like, a city centre. Maybe not exactly like the worst bit of the city centre, but like the nice pretty bits. Or like a cultural landmark, because then at least, you're kind of going, well, at least I went somewhere important.
I'd rather be on a spaceship out of Earth during the Rapture, if you don't mind.
I wouldn't care, I'd be dying.
Both of these are true.
That just shows like different outlooks, like from each of us, really. Richie wants to go somewhere nice. I want to get the fuck out of here, and Flame doesn't care because he's gonna be dead.
This is where we start to see what I mean about how the structure's changing up a little bit. You can see just from the timestamp we're getting towards the end of Lizzie's chapter here, but Lizzie isn't here.
Oh. I have to say, this place seems very well preserved to say that bombs dropped, ?
Well, it depends whether it was bombs or, whether it was gas or something like that, to put people out.
Oh, I don't know which is worse, honestly.
Sleeping baby, darling child, clouds and starlight, starlight, starlight. When you wake, you will be mine. Starlight, sleep and love.
Okay, we can breathe now.
Yeah.
Sleeping baby, shadow dust, clouds and starlight.
Given what we were seeing about Lizzie's predicament early and the fact she's not here, you can kind of figure out what decision she made in the end, can't you?
Yeah. It's easier to run than to face the music, I suppose.
But by that token, she has had to leave everyone else behind.
Is he asleep?
Who's Charlie again?
Charlie was one of Frank's drinking mates. He's one of the villagers who just seems to be around a lot.
Okay.
Oh, there's that choral music.
Can't be long now.
My Rapture senses are tingling. There we go. Just look around the room, you can see everyone's gone the same way, at the same time. This game's death count has just got even higher.
Rapture doesn't care if you're young or old, it's going to take you all the same.
But also, to be fair, this is the first time we've been in a majorly populated location when the Rapture has struck. Pretty much every other time we've been in a relatively isolated location.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But at least they all went together.
So what do we think of Lizzie in the end? What about you, Rich?
I'm more interested to see what happens with Stephen and Kate.
Fair enough.
Which, to be fair, I think is probably sort of the point. And I'm assuming when we see Stephen's narrative, we're probably going to see how Lizzie passed, but we'll see what goes on.
What about you, Flame?
There's some stuff that I don't really want to go into just yet, but on the whole, it was kind of what I was getting at, that Lizzie, it's her situation that makes her interesting. As a character, she's just plays the role, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. She's more of a supporting character than a main character, even if the chapter does revolve around her.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, there's 2 orbs of light there. And the swirling one around one of the orbs. So that's gotta be Stephen and Lizzie then. Just speculation on my part, you don't have to answer. I mean, you know, it would make sense since Stephen is the next chapter and all. Well, at least it was peaceful in the end. We'll see you guys next time for the penultimate part of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.